Nigel Farage continues to occupy the news, and the Reform UK party has offered us the political equivalent of a soap opera crossed with a steel mill tour, all narrated by a man who thinks Port Talbot's furnaces can be reopened by sheer force of charisma and contrarianism. Nigel Farage, that self-styled tribune of the people, is back on the campaign trail, not for Westminster, not for Clacton, but for Cardiff. And what is he promising the people of Wales? Jobs, steel, coal, welding, robots, frankly anything that gets their vote, and naturally a fight to reclaim patriotic dignity. I'm not shallow. It's as if he's staging a musical adaptation of Billy Elliot and Transformers all at the same time. But before we get lost in Farage's promises of molten metal and trade apprenticeships, we should pause and consider what's happening inside Reform UK, because the industrial collapse that concerns Farage in South Wales has a rather ironic echo in his own party's imploding hierarchy. The Ben Habib, once a senior figure in the party, has written a scathing article in the Daily Telegraph this morning, launching this withering review of why Farage is unsuitable for high office. His argument is simple and frankly devastating. Reform UK has no philosophy. It's a campaign, not a party, an extension of one man's ego rather than a collective project of ideological renewal. Habib points out that Farage is not just inconsistent, he's intellectually incoherent. He's simultaneously in favour of cutting benefits and removing the two-child cap. He deplores illegal immigration but won't commit to deportation. He says he defends British culture but would welcome Shamina Begum back. And as for Northern Ireland, apparently reunification is fine by him. This is not nuance, it's opportunism. It's the luxury of a man who doesn't actually expect to govern, no matter what the newspaper pundits suggest, only to galvanise, provoke and walk away. But of course he's got to be very careful. He's playing the same game that the Lib Dems played in the past, and then suddenly there was the coalition and they were expected to do what they said, and they couldn't. And then there's Zia Yusuf, chairman, not chairman, chairman again, 4 jobs in one and a 5th if you count spin. His brief exit over a question of banning the burqa, which he called dumb, revealed the fragility of Reform's internal workings. It wasn't just a clash of personalities, but a collapse in basic party discipline. That Sarah Pochin could ask a question without consulting the leadership, that Yusuf responded via Twitter like a jilted lover, shows a party still struggling to distinguish between WhatsApp strategy and Westminster seriousness. As Ellie Reeves of Labour aptly said, Nigel's way or the highway, or perhaps more accurately, Nigel's way and everyone else in the lay-by. And then we come to the economic theatre. Farage arrives today in Port Talbot and proclaims he'll reopen the blast furnaces. He doesn't mention that these furnaces were decommissioned in favour of electric arc technology, or that British steel now competes in a global market where greening production is an existential necessity, not a PR stunt. Of course, you can say anything if you don't expect to govern. It's the Lib Dem paradox, promising the moon because you'll never be asked to deliver even the lamppost. And Farage promises to reopen coal mines. It's like the producers, you can keep selling a flop. And then there's a possibility that flop may be successful. He promises to set up technical colleges. He promises robots, welders, jobs for the lads. But it's all funded by a fantasy, the magical elimination of government waste, net zero cancellation, what he calls the Doge unit. A Musk-inspired governmental efficiency drive. And the irony here is exquisite. Reform UK, the party of anti-elitism, now copies its structures from Elon Musk's Twitter tantrums. Andy Haldane, the former Bank of England economist, recently called Farage the closest thing Britain has to a tribune of the working class. But it's worth recalling what that means. In Roman politics, the tribunus plebis spoke for the people, yes, but they were often used by patricians to sabotage the public. Populism, as we've learned, has a nasty habit of morphing into autocracy. Reform UK is not a movement, it's a cult of personality marked by purges, by fallings out, by declarations of messianic intent. Rupert Rob Arthur Lowe, formerly of Reform, put it plainly. Farage must never be Prime Minister, he said. He's not alone in thinking so. Suzanne Evans, another person, thinks Farage is awful. Patrick O'Flynn, Alan Sked, Douglas Carswell, they've all clashed with the man who cannot abide equals, only acolytes. If you want to do anything with Farage, get down on your knees. Farage is dangerous, not because he will govern, but because he might shape the agendum of those who do. If Labour, desperate to hold on to the red wall votes, begins chasing Reform's tail on issues like immigration or British identity, then the tail wags the dog. The real challenge for Britain is not reopening the blast furnaces. It's reopening dialogue, rebuilding trust, restoring coherence to a political system now defined more by spectacle than strategy. Farage offers rage, theatre and nostalgia. He doesn't offer government. He offers the opportunity for others to copy him, like Labour, like the Conservatives to their cost. Kemi Badenoch, you look at Kemi Badenoch, half close your eyes, you see Farage. Look at Robert Jenrick, you don't even need to half close your eyes. And the sooner the electorate recognises how irrelevant Farage is, the better. In the meantime, the relevance of Farage is the way he is copied. And that makes him particularly dangerous. Don't fantasize that Farage will ever get the keys to number 10. He won't. His party will implode long before we get to that point. Take it from me. But do be warned that Farage's influence will dictate the next election, will dictate what happens in the present government, because that's the trajectory we are already on. Farage has dictated the terms of government that are being followed by the Labour Party, the terms of opposition followed by the Conservative Party. Farage has set the agendum, just as he set it in Brexit. Farage is the most influential politician in British politics. The fact that he will not end up in number 10 is neither here nor there.